So as you know, all meditation are a combination of calm abiding and insight. So this morning we're doing a meditation on refuge. See, when one sits down and meditates, the first things one has to do is to bring the mind in a calm state. So one of the methods that is very effective for doing that is to do the 9-round breathing. So for those of you who know, they, can do it straight. For that one, I explain in a simple way. So this comes a little bit from the Vajrayana tradition, where it says that one's agitated mind comes because the energy flows in certain part of your body. So in the subtle energy channel in your body, the wind flows in the right or left channel and the channel related to them. And if you're able to bring the wind more in the central channel, by doing so, your mind becomes quieter. So you have less thoughts, you have less emotion, your mind becomes clearer simply by directing the wind energy or your breath in the center of your body. So in this meditation, one imagine first inhaling through the right nostril. So imagine that you inhale light energy, even though you breathe in through both nostrils and into your lung, but you visualize, you imagine that you inhale through the right nostril, white energy, light, and that comes up to the top of your head and then goes down the right side of your body, about 4 finger width below the belly button. And there you hold the breath a few seconds. Inhale light, and then you imagine that the light energy crosses your central channel and then goes up the left side of your body and pushes the stale air or your thought, your emotion out. It pushes that energy out of your left nostril. And you repeat this 3 times. You inhale 3 times light energy from your right nostril. And imagine that light energy comes down and pushes below it the stale air, the gray energy of your thought, emotion, and so forth. And you hold the breath and you push it out while exhaling to the left nostril. So it's important when you inhale, once you have inhaled fully, you hold the breath a few seconds. So you create a gap between the inhale and the exhale. And then you reverse the process. You inhale through the left nostril 3 times. Light energy, you bring it down and you hold the breath. And then you push it over and you exhale it to the right nostril. And then you do both nostrils together. So inhale through both nostrils, white light energy. You bring it to the top of your head. Then you imagine inhaling that light energy down through both sides of your body. And then as you hold the breath fully inhaled, you squeeze these two air against each other. So forefinger width below the belly button, closer to the spine. You squeeze these two light energy from the left and right side together in the center. And by pushing them together, you imagine it produce a little bit of heat, like a friction of air against air, or this pushing together. And then as you exhale, you imagine you exhale at the center of your body upwards, and that the light energy dissolves in the center of your body. So then again, you inhale through both nostrils together. You bring the light energy to the top of your head. And as you further inhale, bring it down both sides of your body. And when you fully inhaled, you squeeze these two energy against each other. Below the belly button, closer to the spine. So when that pushing together produce some kind of heat. And then you focus on that heat there. And when it's time, you exhale that light energy, you push it as you exhale through the center of your body. And you imagine that it dissolves within your body as it moves upward. So we will repeat this circle 3 times. So 3 times you inhale through the left nostril, then exhale, and then 3 times to the left, and then 3 times together. And so the whole process we repeat 3 times. So you do it slowly, gently, you try to feel, to experience the wind energy moving through your body. then after a while you focus mostly on the third circle. So you inhale through both nostrils, bring it down, and you push these two energy together. And so your attention remains there. So that warmth, you imagine it to be a pleasurable sensation and in the nature of light energy. And that becomes your object of focus. And then when you do this kind of calm abiding style of meditation, it's important to be not too tight, not to make too much effort, because it creates agitation, tension, and not too loose, not too relax, because then you start daydreaming, losing focus. So you have to find this gentle middle way of being neither too tight nor too loose. So some meditators take that as an object of calm abiding. Now we're going to switch the meditation. So within the space of your mind, you try to bring forth the image of the Buddha. So usually in the tradition it says to imagine him thumb size at the level of your eyes, wherever you gaze, in front of you about an arm span length. So you imagine the Buddha there in the space of your awareness within your mind. So it can be any Buddha image that you're familiarized with. So you imagine he's made of light energy. So first you set up the image by looking at the detail. So he sits up on a lotus, on a moon disk, in a lotus position, and with the right hand in the earth touching mudra, and the left hand holding a begging bowl full of nectar. And he wears the 3 robes of a monk, and he has a crown protrusion above his head, like a top knot made of with his hair. And then he has this gentle, loving gaze with his eyes looking at you with a gentle, loving expression, very peaceful expression from his whole body, radiating towards you. So you try to see him alive. So you can recollect what Rinpoche said the other day. You see wherever the mind of the Buddha is, which is everywhere, there is the subtle wind energy or subtle body. So the Buddha is very well present in front of us now. So even though we imagine it with our mind, the presence of the Buddha is within that imagination. So you try to make it as alive as possible. So you look at the details, the curly hair, and the little hair, the forehead, and the long ear lobes, and so forth, whatever you recollect. So you look at the detail one after the other to clarify, to make vivid your visualization. And then to counteract distraction, you imagine him being heavy in weight. And to counteract sinking or dullness, you imagine him very bright. And then you alternate analytical meditation, which in this context means that you look at the detailed. Oh, the hair is like that, there's the crown protrusion, the eyes are like that, the mouth, has this gentle smile, and then the ear lobes, and the shoulder, the hands, the feet. So analytical meditation means in this context you look at the detail, you scan the body, and try to imagine the mental expression, the aliveness. And then after a while you stop. You hold whatever is there. You try with your mind to see the whole image at once. And you hold that without distraction and without dullness. So even though it fades away, that it's less clear, it becomes blurred, you don't mind. You just, the vague shape that you have of the Buddha being there, that's good enough. You focus on that. And then after a while, again you analyze, again you scan the body, you make clearer the detail. And then you stop that, and again you stabilize. You keep in your gaze the whole image of the Buddha. Like that, you alternate the two. So in terms of calm abiding, first what you look for is mental stability. So you try to keep or able to maintain the image of the Buddha there without your mind being distracted by other thoughts. And once you have certain degree of stability, then you work on clarity. You make it clearer, you see more detail. And then once you have stability and clarity, you work on the intensity. So the intensity is to remove the subtle dullness. But at our level, so the first stage is to develop stability. So even though from time to time you increase the clarity by scanning, seeing more detail, the main aspect you try to work on is stability. So at level 1 of calm abiding, you're not able to stay on the Buddha for very long. A few seconds and you lose it and you have to bring it back anew. At level 2, you are able to establish a continuity of holding the Buddha there. But the amount of time that you forget it, that your mind is off the Buddha, is longer than the time you are on the Buddha. No, sorry. You're longer on the Buddha. At level 2, you're longer on the Buddha than off. At level 3, you have a sustained attention on the Buddha, but you're losing from time to time. So you have to patch your mind back onto it. So here you lose it from time to time, but you're able quickly to bring your mind back onto the Buddha. And at level 4, you are able to sustain with one part of your mind, continually holding the Buddha. So even though you still have thoughts, you still have a distraction, and you still have dullness, lack of clarity, but you're able to sustain the image of the Buddha continuously. So while you do that, you can also meditate on the mind of refuge, if you like, while holding the Buddha there. So you reflect on his qualities, that he has completely given up all mental affliction, all obscurations, that he's never experiencing any more suffering of body and mind forever. That he knows all past, present and future simultaneously. That he sees all phenomena clearly, all beings' mind, their level of spiritual progress, what they have already achieved, what they still need to develop, and the best way for them to proceed. And that he sees simultaneously all relative phenomena and their ultimate nature. And that this Buddha has more compassion towards each one of us than a mother for her only child. and that He has total equanimity. He loves each one of us exactly in the same way. So He has the power to help us because He Himself is free from all mental affliction. So He's not like a blind man leading other blind men. He's someone who sees and is able to guide blind people to their destinations. So He has the capacity and the spontaneous wish to do so out of His infinite compassion for us. And He's not keen to help someone more than other because He has total equanimity. And since His omniscient mind pervades all phenomena, it pervades this room, it pervades our body, it pervades our mind. Now to take refuge, one has to be willing to do so. And one has to focus on one's pitiful situation. That we are, our mind are under the control of karma and mental affliction. And because of that, there's no guarantee when we die that we are not born in the lower realm. We have all the causes, all the seeds within our mind. So if these seeds ripen at the time of death, they can produce a hellish appearance, a hellish life, a preta life, or an animal life. And since we haven't purified all these imprints yet, there's no guarantee that we are not ending there. And since death can happen any moment, before we have purified all that, and because we are more habituated to create negative karma than positive, we are more habituated to follow craving, grasping, attachment, pleasure, habituated to have aversion to all that's unpleasant. we continually create more seeds for suffering rebirth. But the Buddhas have the power to protect us from that. So the mind, the state of mind that relies on the power of the Buddha, that wholeheartedly entrusts oneself to Buddha, will prevent this karmic seed to ripen at the time of death. So refuge is a state of mind in which on one side you are fully aware of the qualities of the Buddha, his kindness towards you, and yourself realizing the pitiful state you are in, of not having control over one's future life. Or in the middle scope, one would focus that one's mind is still under the control of mental affliction and ignorance, still trapped in cyclic existence. And then one takes wholehearted refuge to the Buddha so that he frees us from rebirth, cyclic existence. That he helps us remove our ignorance as mistaken perception of reality. And the Mahayana refuge are for those which have generated bodhicitta, which are fully aware as they are themselves trapped in cyclic existence. So are all living beings. So they expand their heart-mind to encompass all living beings. And for the sake of all living beings, with this heart of love that encompasses all living beings in their care, together take refuge in enlightened beings to lead us to the fully omniscient mind. And as you inhale, you imagine light energy comes from the heart of the Buddha. That light energy purifies all your mental affliction, all your negative karma, and fills your body with light energy. Make your body very bright So there's the visualization. But what's important is the heart feeling of entrusting yourself from the heart to the enlightened being, to the Buddha. And if you mix this practice with Guru devotion, you can imagine that the Buddha is one with your Guru. So you can visualize your Guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha. So the Guru has the same quality as the Buddha. But he's kinder than the Buddha because he's the one that helps us now. We are not able to see the Buddhas directly yet. But our Gurus, we have the good fortune, the good karma to meet him now. So the mind of refuge has these two sides. On one side, you realize the pitiful state you are in. And that the Buddha, the Guru, has the power to free you from that. And that you fully entrust yourself with your whole being. Then you imagine the Guru or the Buddha melting into light and absorbing into you. And imagine receive the blessings of the Buddha or the blessing of the Guru. And that your mind and the mind of the Buddha become one. Like water being poured into water. So imagine that the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of your Guru, is transferred into your mind. That your mind becomes imbued with the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of the Guru. Then you imagine that the shape of your body disappears and that your infinite consciousness, infinite awareness And then within that space, you crystallize your body again, become aware. So whatever positive energy we have generated by this meditation, may we in this life always take refuge. At the time of death, may we recollect the Buddha and take refuge. May in the bardo, may we take refuge. And may next life we take refuge in the Buddha again. Due to the imprint we have created in our mind, may our mind of refuge constantly grows in sincerity. So first we generate the effortful mind of refuge till it becomes spontaneous. Lama Sangye Dung Yune Doa Chikyang Manuba Gegi Sana Gomashu Janshu Senchu Rinpoche Ma Kyepa Nange Gyuchi Gyeba Nyamba Mebaya Gone Gondu Meba Shu Om Lama Sangye Lama Che